They got you, Keita.
Hey, what's going on? What's going on? It's the Green Okie. I just finished watching the Terrifier, so I wanted to give my reaction to it while it's still kind of fresh in my mind. So I just want to tell you about the whole experience. So when I first got to the movie theater, you know, I saw the price ticket and it was like $17.50. And I was thinking like, God damn, like when did movie tickets become so expensive, you know? So I was looking and I was just like, man, do I really want to spend $17.50 on a ticket? And I was just like, I don't even know if this movie's gonna be good. And then I was like, I am hungry right now. And I started doing the math. I was like, well, dang, if I just go get a Subway sandwich and go back home and watch Terrifier 1 and Terrifier 2, you know, maybe that'll be enough, you know. So I was like, maybe that'll be good. So I started trying to like Google other movie theaters that maybe had like cheaper prices, you know, and I found one, but it was like far away from where I was at. So I was like, I don't know if I want to make that drive. So what I did was I went back to my car and I made a decision. I started like kind of contemplating. I was like, okay, Subway, you get some satisfaction, you'll be full. And then I actually thought about the Terrifier franchise as a whole. So I was like, Terrifier 1, yeah, they had some pretty good gore. I was pretty creeped out. It was, you know, it had some suspense, and it had some stuff in it. It had some memorable kills. And I started thinking about Terrifier 2, and I was like, okay, yeah, kind of the same thing. Yeah, that Art the Clown, I think they should call him a mime, more of a mime. He really doesn't talk, but that's another video. So I was like, yeah, Terrifier 2 was pretty good too. Yeah. And then I was like, do I really need to eat that Subway sandwich? You know, can I go back home and just eat some, you know, some almond butter or something? You know, I was like, yeah, I can go back home and eat some almond butter. So I was like, okay, you know, I'm gonna give Terrifier 3, you know. So I went ahead and spent $20 on this ticket, $17.50 or whatever, you know. And I was like, oh man, I hope this movie is good. Man, let me tell you, that Terrifier 3 is one of the best horror movies I have ever seen. Like, oh my God. Let me put it like this. Like, when they was saying that people was getting up and had to leave the theater, that's literally what I wanted to do. But it was like, you just paid $17.50 for this ticket. You gonna get your money's worth, you know? So my fist is literally like this throughout the whole like 2-hour duration of the movie. And it was the reason why this movie, oh my God, it was better than the first two. And that's so hard to do. You know, it's very hard for a sequel to kind of outdo the original, but I think Terrifier 3 outdid the first two. And, you know, when you're watching it, you kind of getting this feel like, oh, this is kind of like a B movie. And, you know, it kind of borders on this B movie / you know, A-list production or whatever. But once it starts getting into it, like really good and deep, this is a grade A horror movie that any body horror enthusiast will enjoy. Let me explain. This movie crossed taboos, and it kind of crossed lines that really just shouldn't be crossed in horror. For example, when you watch Pennywise or It, even though that movie is dealing with, like, you know, the children or whatever, it was kind of like short and sweet, right? If there was something dealing with that, it was like it was there and then it was done. But with this one, it was like they really just kind of let your mind, it really played with your mind as far as like, is he really about to do this? It was like, oh my God, he did it. You know, like he really did it. You know, I was like, so just whenever you knew that he would go as far as the children or whatever, it's put your mind in this state of like, okay, if he's going to do that, then what else is he going to do? And boy, oh boy, that's how the whole movie was. It kept raising the bar on what you think that he won't do, and he did it. Let me give you, I think everybody kind of got this thing about being in the shower and somebody coming up in there getting you in the shower. Oh boy. That's exactly what happened. You know, so it wasn't no gay scenes or nothing like that. But, you know, it was a regular old good traditional American sex scene or whatever. And, you know, he came in there with a chainsaw. And boy, this guy did great with a chainsaw to a man. That was the only, I guess, say homosexual thing that was in the movie, kind of. Oh my God, I still don't want to think about it. And then he went on in the front part, and he took off the family jewels, and we were able to see that. I'm still kind of reeling from it. I don't know a horror movie could give me post-traumatic stress and make me laugh at the same time. Oh my God, like this movie, you just have to really see it. And did I also tell you about the taboo? So it was the one about the children, but then they also kind of played with religion, you know, because basically they kind of like, you know, the main character in the movie, you know, she had on this Jesus type of thorn crown while she was about to get killed. So it was like, your Jesus ain't coming to save you. So they was kind of playing around with that, saying, you know, oh, he ain't real and all that. So that was another little bit of a taboo that was crossed. And, you know, something that was also expected, that was unexpected, is this movie, it can kind of be compared to Saw a little bit. You know, it was more of a hands-on type of Saw, rather than, you know, they're doing, like, you know, in the Saw franchise, the people, they do it to themselves, right? But it's Art the Clown and his accomplice who are doing the you know, the killings or whatever, right? So hold on. Yeah. So basically it's like Saw, but like a manual version of Saw, you know? Like, it's body horror to the extreme, man. It really is. It's my whole stomach was churning. Like I said, my fist was like this for like 2 hours because it was just like, it was like I didn't know what to do. It's like you had to sit there and just take it. You'd have to sit here and just watch all of this unfold. I mean, it was, I don't want to get too much of the movie away, but it was so stomach churning that, yeah, you really shouldn't probably eat anything if you go watch the movie, because if you eat something very hard or whatever, and if you have a weak stomach, you will throw it up, because my horror threshold was pushed during this movie. Like, with it, Pennywise, Aliens, Chucky, all those things, I kind of like already had that circulating in my mind. This movie surpassed all of that. All of it. Jeepers Creepers, Jason, surpassed all of it. All of it. Like I said, this movie's on more of the body horror side. So it's not really like a jump scare type of movie. So if you're kind of going to rate it on a jump scare scale, then the movie, it won't be so good for you. But if you're looking at it from a body horror perspective and stuff like that, and gore, this movie does not disappoint. And like I said, like, that's the only kind of really comparison I got, is it's more of a first person Saw, and like hands on. And what I also liked is that they kind of expanded on the lore a little bit. It started giving like the story a little bit more meat. So, for anybody who's, like I said, who's religious, they had like a possession in there. So that was really unexpected. It was like, wow, okay. I mean, like, they had a possession, stuff like that. So it really got kind of deep in there towards the end, and, I think it's definitely worth one watch at least. Like I said, my stomach is hurting right now just from what I've seen. It is so much. It was just too much. Oh my God. I'll be like, you try to feel something for the characters, and that was the other part that made it so hard to watch, because it's like, I think they did a good job establishing characters that you cared for, so you really didn't want them to die. And they also established, the children are innocent. And then they got offed. They got deleted. It is like, there is just no hope for nobody in this movie. There's not hope for nobody. I can't expect anybody to live in this movie. Oh my God. It was like everybody I cared about in this movie, they got offed, and it was like, why do I feel so bad? Why do I feel so bad about this? Like, it's just a movie, but my characters are being taken from me, So, oh my God, like, I'm really just still reeling, I may go in the house and throw up. That's how gory this movie was. I mean, I even looked around to see if I was crazy in the movie theater. The person on my left, they had their hand up like this, like they were on a roller coaster ride, and they couldn't get off. Like, I gotta stay here too, like, he had his hand up like this, like, oh my God, his hand was up. Like, I don't know what to do. And then the person on the right, she couldn't even watch no more than like 3 minutes at a time. You know, she had to have her boyfriend's hand like in her face like this watching the movie. It was it was so funny, man. Like, you know, but yeah, that movie is something else, like grade A. So yeah, if you want to go watch a great horror movie and get your money's worth, because I don't think I really get my money's worth. Like, only the last time I think was with Alien Isolation. No, Alien Romulus. That was a good one. But with this one, I think I got my money's worth even more than Alien Romulus. Yeah. So, yeah. Go watch Terrifier 3. You'll be terrified, disgusted, excruciatingly under a lot of anguish from the helplessness that you will feel from this movie. Okay. So that's my review. 8.5 out of 10. It's a solid. Okay, I'll catch you next time.